This didn't work well because it is a landline. So I'm going to take another number here and we'll see if this number works any better. Can you say, Sarah,
What?
can you tell me the code that was sent to your phone, please? I don't know where you put it. Fucking stupid. It's all so stupid. It's amazing. Fine. So, read to me.
Use code 622-468. Did you hear me?
622
468.
468.
Got it?
Wait a minute, please. Verify. No,
What did you type?
another number.
What did you type? Read me the number you typed. Read me the number you typed. Did you type 622?
No, he wants another phone number.
You want to use yours?
So,
I'll get your phone.
can you please?
Yeah,
Thanks.
I got your phone.
Probably won't work, but who knows?
You know the phone number?
949 6673 249.
949-667-3249. Okay? Nothing was sent to me.
Wait. Okay. Did you get the code?
773113. You want to repeat it? Repeat it. Can you repeat it? 773
The phone number can be used to sign up Google Voice number.
113.
It doesn't want to use the phone number. This is Google Channel. Oh, thank you.
I'm eating here.
Thank you. Maybe later. Oh, it's time. Hmm. Or- Hmm. Time. Start. Oh, preferable. Mm, 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 mm. We wonder. Mm, difficult. Mm, 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 mm. Right. So we go save, go back to here, check analysis, so where was the PDF here? Hmm. This is hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
It's astonishing that one man with very little assistance was able to do this. It's just astonishing.
It's approximately 600 square meters. So that's roughly speaking 3 tennis courts. It's huge. It's overwhelming. The sheer scale of it takes you back. There's so much of it that you could walk around in there for months, years even, and still not see everything. It's hard to imagine how absolutely delighted Julius must be. Now he can celebrate Mass underneath perhaps the greatest work of art in all of Christendom, and he, Julius II, commissioned it. Michelangelo envisions 3 different parts of the Old Testament. There's the creation sequence, there's the creation of Adam and Eve, then there's the story of Noah. He wants the story to be about the translation of power through all of these generations of biblical figures down to the Pope himself. Michelangelo begins by painting the flood, and that is why that is the strangest of the panels. It's crowded, the figures are too small, and it's really difficult to read. But as he moves forward into the space of the church, his style starts to loosen up. The figures become much more simplified, much more dynamic, and much more sculptural. Almost like if Michelangelo were carving out of paint rather than painting.
When I look at the fresco, there's like this passion, this wildness. Everyone's got this expression. The hair's blowing in. It's got so much drama going on. And this still brings tears to your eyes and blows you away. In this day and age, when we're bombarded with imagery, it's incredible.
There is so much there, such richness, that Michelangelo is really suggesting God's ability to create the richness of the world. And most people finally end up focusing on little fingers that meet one another.
Creation of Adam, it's so bold, it's so graphic, it's just reduced down to the bare minimum. It's become pop art, really. You show it all over the world, and everyone knows that's when Michelangelo.
For Julius, this is an immensely successful propagandistic move. He has created at the center of Christendom the most beautiful work of all time.
Give it a try, of course.
Eddie's away.
Downward slightly. So as you shift your eye, the smile goes on and off. It's interactive. And he does things with the optics of the light so that her hand is rather sharp, but the background is very hazy because he knows that's how your eye sees perspective.
This fictive landscape is dominated by water. Light is filtered through this misty environment. So we have also a study of light.
It takes him 16 years, and even on his deathbed, if you asked him, he'd say, no, there are a few more brushstrokes I could do.
After 3 years in the French court, Leonardo dies, age 67.
There's a very haunting line that he wrote in his notebook, and it was, tell me if anything was ever accomplished. Tell me if anything was ever done. And I think he's worried that he really hasn't accomplished what he could have.
When Michelangelo and Raphael hear of the death, I mean, he is the other contender. They were the top three, and I think they had respect for him and sadness at his death.
We all lost something when Leonardo died. He pleased himself, but left behind too little for so great a talent. What will my legacy be? What will I bequeath to the world?
Since finishing the Sistine ceiling, Michelangelo has not won any commissions from Pope Leo.
Leo X was not attracted particularly to Michelangelo's rather difficult character. The Pope, without a doubt, was attracted much more to the very urbane and sophisticated Raphael, who was much easier to work with.
Leo chooses the reliable Raphael to make 10 lavish tapestries for the walls of the Sistine Chapel to eclipse his predecessor Julius. For Raphael, it's a chance to outdo Michelangelo. When people enter the chapel, they won't look up at Michelangelo's ceiling, but be awed by Raphael's eye-level masterpieces.
Tapestry had always been seen as the ultimate in luxury items to have. So if you're producing tapestry, you're really producing a valuable piece of art.
Raphael makes preparatory sketches before painting the full-scale tapestry templates in colour.
He made them as independent works of art, and that's how important the commission was to him. Raphael's cartoons tell the stories of the Acts of the Apostles, and of course, the Pope is the direct successor of Peter the Apostle, so this has specific meaning for the Pope.
The tapestries depict miracles performed by Jesus, such as the healing of a lame man, the miraculous draught of fishes, and Jesus declaring Peter his representative on earth, giving him the keys to the gates of heaven.
He knew how to get the effects he wanted with color. He privileged really rich, sometimes elaborate color schemes, extremely effective in their simplicity, and he particularly strove to get the best in color because he knew that he could excel over Michelangelo in that arena.
Raphael's cartoons are sent to Brussels, where the tapestries are made. Each one is 3 meters tall and woven with wool, silk, and real gold thread.
The tapestries were worth 5 times the amount paid to Michelangelo for the Sistine ceiling. So much more is being spent by the Medici Pope for this one cycle, because so much gold thread was actually used in them. These tapestries were actually described as heavenly.
That was a most grievous insult. No matter how much gold or silken thread he might have had woven in, they would not outshine my ceiling, which required no gold to radiate heaven's light.
Everything seems to be going brilliantly for Raphael. He's incredibly successful, he's talented. And then he suddenly gets sick. He catches a fever. He's bled. That, of course, makes things worse because it weakens him. And he dies. He's 37. It's utterly shocking. But his death is a shock to everybody. No more so than Michelangelo, because the rivalry between them, like with Leonardo, he's lost the thing that he's rubbing against. So he's devastated.
Michelangelo's motivation is all about trying to outdo whoever's come along next. This is his fuel. This is what keeps him going. Now, they're all dying. Leonardo, 1519, Raphael, 1520. So yes, it does affect Michelangelo's drive and motivation.
Raphael's excesses caught up with him. This is no victory for me.
Pope Leo's favourite artist is gone, but he has much more to worry him than who will make him beautiful tapestries. Over the past decade, Martin Luther's horror at papal extravagance has ignited a movement that's starting to look unstoppable.
Initially, it's a protest against Catholic papal indulgences that snowballed into a complete rejection of the key tenets of Catholicism. And he says it's really about a relationship between yourself and the Word of God in the Bible. You don't need popes and bishops as the mediators between you and God. He says, why do we need these people? Because the results are all this opulence, all this luxury, all this decadence, which is just hateful.
Suddenly, the Catholic Church has a huge fight on its hands.
Luther's sermons find a big audience, and then the printing press takes them up.
Printing of Protestant pamphlets and Lutheran material, including his own translation of the Bible, it's viral. It just sweeps across Europe.
That is the spark that sets off the Reformation, and its impact is going to be absolutely incalculable. Michelangelo is deeply disillusioned. He's lost his greatest rivals, and Luther's ideas shake his own faith to its foundations.
There's a deep held spiritual belief that he has, and I think it's bedrocked on Catholic principles. It's a time, obviously, of deep religious turmoil and soul searching. There is a sense of a real despair that we get through his poetry at this time.
Since I was captured, my soul has been searching for 1,000 remedies to get back on its earlier road. But beauty is like fate taking me from heaven.
With no work for him in Rome, Michelangelo returns home to Florence. But even here, he cannot find the answers he seeks. Instead, events outside his control cause chaos. In Rome, Pope Leo suddenly dies of pneumonia. From then on, the papacy is in crisis. By 1523, another Medici is given the impossible task of re-establishing papal control.
Clement VII has no chance, really. He's really up against it on every front. There's money running out. The playbook is raise taxes, papal indulgences, get more money into the coffers. But all that's doing is fanning a new kind of fire, because there's then resentment, even within your Catholic base. There are attacks on the clergy. Things are building to some great explosion.
Church and powerful families like the Medici are faltering. Radical forces are sweeping across Italy, heralding a seismic shift.
The ramifications of Luther's ideas lead to the splintering of Christendom. Leaders of particular states realize this is their chance to throw off papal authority and get control of the church in their own lands.
The Habsburgs, who rule a vast swathe of Western Europe, sense an opportunity to seize powers from Pope Clement. On the 6th of May, 1527, the Habsburg army marches towards Rome with orders to surround the city. But the soldiers are mostly radicalized followers of Martin Luther. They defy orders to hold the city walls and brutally attack.
What then happens is absolutely appalling. It's what's called the sack of Rome.
One onlooker said that it was like hell had come to earth.
Nuns are raped. An orphanage is just massacred. They kill children. 40 to 50,000 people are massacred. Bodies are dumped into the Tiber. People say that the river literally runs red.
The soldiers themselves said they were going to take Rome by storm, and they were there not only to loot and to pillage, but also to humiliate the church.
Artwork is decimated. So the Lutherans, of course, see this as iconic art which needs to be destroyed.
There seems to be an attack on the very idea of Rome and a condemnation of everything that the church has become.
In the wake of the sack of Rome, Florentines seized their chance to reclaim independence from their Medici overlords.
A lot of Florentines feel like the city is really serving the Vatican and that their interests are not taken care of. They see it as an opportunity to oust the Medici and build a real republic.
And this is another one of these extremely difficult moments for Michelangelo, who does not want to get involved in politics, but everybody has to choose a side.
When news reached Florence of the sack of Rome, we did not mourn. Instead, we imagined ourselves to be released from the yoke of the papacy. Perhaps as Florentines, we could be free at last.
Michelangelo turns against the very family who originally took him in and nurtured his talents.
He is getting uneasy about the politics and the warmongering of his patrons, and he sees this as an opportunity to support the homeland.
We chased the Medici out of the city and announced that only God would rule in Florence.
The Florentines announce a republic, the David against the Goliath of the rest of the political world of Italy.
Michelangelo decides to side with his own Florentine state. He becomes a military engineer. The Florentine state comes to him to design the fortifications that would help protect the city from the inevitable siege that is going to come.
Soon these defenses are put to the test. Following the sack of Rome, the Habsburgs make peace with Pope Clement, who enlists their army to retake Florence for his Medici family.
Naive we were. To think that David's Florence could match the Goliaths of the mighty Habsburgs and the Pope. My fortifications only slowed them down, but there was no saving the city.
Michelangelo's beloved Florence is overrun, and his life is suddenly in danger.
Clement's men round up the anti-Medici supporters and either imprison them or execute them. And Michelangelo's name shows up on these lists. He is chased by people that want to kill him.
This is an utterly terrifying moment. Probably the most dangerous moment in Michelangelo's life. His friends and associates are being executed, and Michelangelo, of course, thinks that he's probably next on the list.
In a bitter irony, he finds sanctuary in a room beneath a chapel built by the Medici, the very family who are hunting him down. He stays in hiding for 2 months.
He's seen so much by this point in life. He's been through so many different theological crises. He's seen the Reformation. And I think because of his religious beliefs, he must be thinking of his own death and what he leaves behind.
But it's not his executioner who comes.
Clement VII, recognizing the value of Michelangelo, actually writes a letter to secure his safety.
Despite the ravages of the Reformation, Clement still believes in the power of art to shore up his papacy. He pardons Michelangelo and invites him to Rome.
So once again, art saves his life.
I looked death in the face and survived. I knew that I must use what art was left in me to serve him. He had decided my time was not yet done.
When he arrived in Rome for the first time, more than 30 years before, Michelangelo was a lowly craftsman, utterly beholden to his patrons.
Artists now are of such importance that they deserve the attention and respect of the powerful. Michelangelo has risen to a level equal almost to the Pope.
But the return to Rome leaves him a different man, I think. He's much older now. He's been through so many different patrons. So what does he want to do in these latter stages, really, of his life?
Maybe there's a larger purpose to art. Now he wants to devote himself entirely to things that really matter. And what matters most? The salvation of your soul, the forgiveness of your sins, and the hope for a good death. As he describes himself, I work for God.
And where better to serve God than in the Sistine Chapel? Clement sets Michelangelo a task that will push him to confront the deepest questions of his faith.
I was back once more in Rome, gazing up at what I'd done, and I saw I needed to do something greater. With the gift that God himself had granted me, I had to say what I felt.
I've been to the Sistine Chapel, I think, 55 times. And just like everybody who comes in that door, I'm struck by the awesome, overwhelming power and scale and magnificence of the Last Judgment.
When you walk into the Sistine Chapel, it stills your breath. Imagine what it was like for someone who've never seen imagery before, especially on that level.
What is so shocking is the sheer size. He paints over 300 figures into this wall. The Last Judgment was a traditional subject, Christ's decision to save some of the souls after the end of times and to condemn other souls to an eternal life of suffering. The only person who is immediately recognizable is Christ, who is the center of the entire composition. He is said to have two hands, a blessing hand and a punishing hand. Heaven is up and hell is down. The figures that tend to go up seem to be full of energy. The figures that go down, that of course are damned, seem to get progressively compressed. They are in pain, their faces demonstrate their terror of what's to come.
I think that Michelangelo, rather like me, had terrible dreams about the condition of his soul. Terrible, terrible premonitions about whether at the Last Judgment he was going to be found wanting.
Michelangelo paints himself into the scene in the flayed skin of Saint Bartholomew.
This is an acknowledgement that the surface of things doesn't matter. It's the internal condition that matters. And it's very, very clear that Michelangelo knows that he is going to be judged.
That painting is not about the church. It's about the moment between God and all of the people who have died. And they are Lutheran, it is, which suggests you don't need the church to intercede for you. In the end, it is you and God together. But I think it sums up artistically the shock of what has happened to the Catholic Church.
He depicts saints and holy figures naked. That's pretty shocking in and of itself. And they look scared, even though they've dedicated their entire lives to following the teachings of God. They don't know if they're going to get in. The saints and the big players in the church are being shown to be exactly the same as everybody else. It's saying you are not more powerful here. You are fragile, you are vulnerable, you are frightened, you are naked, as is everybody else. And only God's going to judge you. And we will all be naked and equal before him when that time comes. It must have been so cathartic for him to paint.
In some ways, we can see the Last Judgment as a kind of grand summary, not only of Michelangelo's life and his art, but maybe even of his times. Michelangelo puts everything in there. The good and the bad, the beautiful and the horrible. This is a moment of unprecedented freedom on the part of the artist. And that is what a modern artist does. So the Last Judgment is one of these culmination moments. One of the greatest works of art of all time.
Who have I served? I've had so many paymasters, difficult patrons, petty rivals, all seeking immortality through my art. Will they be remembered?
Michelangelo transforms the whole notion of the role of art and an artist in society. Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Raphael, they've moved from being nameless artisans when he's really a kid in the Medici household to being these superstars that have kings and popes demanding their work. Ironically, we don't remember the politics, the patrons, and the warmongering, but the art lives on. That's what survives.
We're attracted to the idea that humanity can accomplish things of such beauty and grandeur in a time of war, devastation, and mayhem. We all have a debt, I think, to Michelangelo and to the artists of the Renaissance because they showed us what we can do beyond the complexities of the world and the mess of politics. They showed us what is possible.
Oh, I am so old now. Death is tugging at the tape to go along with him. But there's still so much to do. So I shall keep him waiting for a while longer.
Welcome to the Age of Humans. We've basically transformed the hydrology empire. In the 30s, 40s, and 50s, it was tame the river, build the dams. People are being assaulted by toxic particulates.
There is hope for us to do things right.
We imagine a future, and also, but we also sometimes imagine futures that become impossible to sustain.
This program is available with PBS Passport and on Amazon Prime Video. This program was made possible in part by contributions to your PBS station from the US Life for You. Thank you. You're watching PBS.
If journeys through history fascinate you, please consider a donation. Call or text GIVE to the number on your screen or visit our secure website. Thank you.
I'm Lourdes Kogel. I have been in the field of education for 50 plus years.
I think it's important that South Florida PBS has programs for all ages. There are programs for children who are still at home that are educational. And we also like the music programs from doo-wop to Bocelli. And I am a particular fan of Masterpiece Theater. It's important for us to know that the different good things we have experienced can also be experienced by other people, whether they can afford it or not. Whatever little bit we can offer, it can benefit not just us, but the community. And I would encourage everybody to donate. South Florida PBS is the greatest.
Here's what's coming up next on South Florida PBS. A young student caught in the crossfire of art and politics. Her Vietnam memorial helped heal a nation. 50 years after the war, watch the Academy Award-winning Maya Lin of Strong, Clear Vision. Tonight at 10 on South Florida PBS. Wednesday at 8 p.m. on South Florida PBS.
The age of humans. We basically transformed the hydrology of our entire planet. In the 30s, 40s, and 50s, it was tame the river, build the dam.
There is hope for us to do things right.
Wednesday at 9 p.m. on South Florida PBS.
Greetings, everyone. I am David Prather, proud board chair of South Florida PBS. Like many of you, I am also a longtime member of our donor society. Please consider donating to South Florida PBS at a level that is meaningful to you. Together, we can sustain our trusted, award-winning content and lifelong learning, especially for children. Thank you so much.
After the dinosaurs. Next, how long did it take for ecosystems to reform? From life to recover. Now, an amazing fossil record has been found in the Rosetta Stone. Tell us about how we got to be here. Rise of the mammals on Nova.
Wednesday at 10 p.m. on South Florida PBS.
Next time. A power outage on an island is caused by an electrocution.
That would have been instantaneous.
The victim was stealing electricity, but now one has a question.
Why wasn't he wearing his insulation hose?
Death in paradise.
Thursday at 8 p.m. on South Florida PBS. Thank you to our friends of South Florida PBS. Human Aviation Research Foundation, Inc. Community Foundation of Broward. Mr. and Mrs. Edward Bedman. Mr. and Mrs. J. Pepe Van Hool. Foreman Family Foundation. For philanthropic giving, please call 1-877-272-7867. Thursday at 10 p.m. on South Florida PBS.
Uncovering events and exploring the stories that shaped our world with South Florida PBS on YouTube. From the sun-soaked shores of the Florida Keys, 200 years of paradise, to the impact of Panama Canal post-Panamax. Join a vibrant community of history lovers and curious minds. Subscribe now and bring the past to life with South Florida PBS YouTube channel.
If powerful storytelling like this moves you, consider a gift. Just call or text GIVE to the number on your screen or visit our secure website. Thank you.
Next on POV,
A young student caught in the crossfire of art and politics. Her Vietnam memorial helped heal a nation. 50 years after the war, watch the Academy Award winning Maya Lim of Strong, Clear Vision. Stay tuned following this program to hear from the director and to find out how you can share your point of view. Major support for peer review and our Behind the Lens program has been provided by Open Society Foundations. Major funding for peer review has been provided by the John Deere Capital Department Foundation, the Reba and David Golden Foundation, the Perspective Fund, the Winford Foundation, Art Foundation, Acton Family Leader, and the National Endowment for Youth. Additional support provided by actions to your PBS station from peers like you. Thank you.
Designing the piece, I knew that I had to ask myself, what is a memorial's purpose? Especially what is a memorial's purpose in the 20th century? And all I was saying in this piece is the cost of war is these individuals, and we have to remember them first. And so it's really the people, not the politics, which is what this piece is about. Because it's only when you accept the pain, it's only when you accept the death, can you then come away from it? Can you then overcome it? And literally, as you read a name or touch a name, and the pain will come out. And I really did mean for people to cry. That you can then have to, with your own power, turn around and walk back up into the light, into the present. But if you can't accept that, you'll never get over it. So what the memorial is about honesty, which is also what the civil rights piece is about. You have to accept and admit that this pain has occurred in order for it to be healed, in order for it to be cathartic.
You guys, same day. No, some of us.
special about it?
Nothing like it. There isn't anything I've read too long. It doesn't make any specific gesture, which can date it in time or in place. It's all word, all death,